Hello everyone, I'm Sandy Anastasi, psychic channel, intuitive astrologer, and soul coach. I'm here with my psychic protection tip number 24. This one is so important, folks. This psychic protection tip is about taking your temperature. And here's how it goes. Did you know that as you become more intuitive and aware, you also become more open to being on the receiving end of all that psychic energy that's floating around out there in the world? Have you noticed that when you walk into a place where there's been some kind of emotional issue, even a public place that you've never been in before, where perhaps earlier that day a patron had a medical emergency and everyone got upset, you immediately feel uncomfortable. You feel panicky or weepy, and you just want to leave? Seeing no physical reason for your discomfort, you are confused about your own feelings when this kind of thing happens. Often, instead of stepping away from the negativity, you are drawn deeper into it. You assign your emotions to something that you know about, to something that makes sense to you. And then your day goes straight downhill as the situations, fueled by your negative emotion, begin to snowball. Have you had the experience of being filled with anxiety that you can't explain, only to hear a day later that there was some major calamity out there in the world? Some people are so sensitive that their very bodies act like antennae, and they are just constantly reflecting what's going on in the greater world around them. They have emotional mood swings that take them from pole to pole with each new cataclysm. This is perhaps one possible root of bipolar disorder that should be explored by psychologists. How about you? Have you been out of sorts for weeks sometimes, not knowing why? Just being generally irritable, and then found out that a friend or a relative that you're close to lost their job or came down with a major illness? Then, as soon as the event happens and you found out and you knew about this whole situation, your irritability just automatically disappeared. I do that myself all the time. But I've learned, I now understand what it is. I've learned to put the irritability aside. I've learned to not buy into any of that. I've learned to not assign my emotions to some invented issue. And my life is far happier as a result. I don't permit myself to become upset unless I know for a fact there's a good reason. Even then, if it's something that does not concern me and that I can do nothing about, I push the negative emotions away. How about you? How about you? Have you suddenly had an urge to leave a place or drive a different route than you usually do, only to find out that some unpleasantness or accident occurred there soon after you'd chosen to leave? Wow, good for you. Am I getting your attention yet? I hope so. My beginning students often ask me why, as they begin to develop their intuitive and psychic abilities, in those initial stages, they feel so much more vulnerable and emotional. Our entire world is beginning to move and evolve to a new level. As it does, all of us are becoming psychic. All of us, folks. You are all in the beginning stages of your own intuitive development. Even those of you who are not actively studying. Even those of you who think you're not psychic. Even those of you who are skeptics. If you are consciously trying to develop your abilities, you're already aware, or you should be, that you need to learn to protect yourself as you learn to open up. These two things have to happen together. You need to become more aware in order to do this. As you're finding yourself evolving into a more and more intuitive being, as most everyone is in the world today, you need to become conscious of the need to disconnect from those energies around you that pull on you, but don't need your personal attention. Let me explain what I mean. When you walked into that public space I mentioned earlier, where earlier in that day there was a medical emergency, you walked into an energetic field of panic and negative emotion. It's not yours. It's not yours to fix. So you can dismiss it. You can let it go. It will not affect the rest of your day in any way. But how do you know that? Here's the answer, my friends. You take your temperature constantly throughout the day. What do I mean by this? You do a fairly constant self-assessment all day long as you move through your day. For example, if you've been calm, happy, and relaxed just before you went into that public space, and then suddenly you feel anxious and panicky for no obvious reason, you know the feeling's not yours. You consciously step back from it and into your previous happy emotional state. You don't buy in. I teach meditation in my level 1 classes of the Anastasi system of psychic development because it makes the process of identifying what's not self easier. But if you remember to take your temperature often throughout the day, if you remember to do that constant self-assessment often throughout the day, you'll find you can continue your evolutionary journey of intuitive awareness while remaining aloof from the negative vibrations around you that tend to pull you backwards. Folks, it's so simple. It's so simple. Don't forget. Do that self-assessment continually. Take your temperature before you allow yourself to go off into an emotional tirade, or emotional down, or hurt, or upset, or fear. Step back. Take your temperature. Is that emotion even yours? Most of the time, it's not. I'm Sandy Anastasi. Please visit me on www.sandyanastasi.com to find out more about me and my work. I'm going to be teaching psychic development this summer right here online. You can study with me, and you can find out how to do that on my website, www.sandyanastasi.com. So long for now. Until next month. Bye-bye.